Welcome back into Turning Point tonight. My name is Chris Hand, filling in for the one and only Joe Bob, who is off today, doing exactly what he needs to be doing. Joe Bob and his beautiful wife have welcomed in an amazing baby boy to the world. Listen, if you're going to make Charlie Kirk proud, this is what you got to do. You got to grow families. You got to lead with your faith. You got to be bold. Joe Bob is checking all the boxes. We're praying for you, man. God bless you guys. And thank you for letting me fill in. My name's Chris Hand. And I host a conservative radio show here in Nashville on Super Talk 99.7. And I've worked with Turning Point in the past, and this show really holds a near and dear place in my heart. So I thank you guys for welcoming me into your home. And we got a lot to get to. Now, if I annoy you during the show, I will be checking my Twitter during the break. So by all means, send your hate mail to me directly at Chris Hand on air. Or if you want to be a little bit less personal, you can send the hate mail to Joe Bob so he can read it when he gets back, tpt@tpusa.com. Both are acceptable. We are happy to do either. On the way, we're going to be talking about Donald Trump. We're also going to talk about left-wing violence. We saw a lot more left-wing violence today in America down in Dallas, and we're praying for everybody involved there. And it might shock some leftists that we are actually going to be praying for the illegal aliens that were shot by an unhinged leftist. But yes, that's what we do. We pray for peace, we pray for safety, and we don't want violence. We don't. What we want to do is we want to see our faith being brought into the public square. We want to see our leaders lead with faith, and we want to see our leaders be bold and lead with truth. And that's exactly what we saw from Donald Trump at the UN General Assembly just yesterday. At the assembly, Donald Trump was not really holding back, shall we say. He's never one to, but this was no exception. And he called out a lot of nations to their face. And I think that it was really awesome what he did. Now, I understand that they lowered the microphone so that way they could barely hear it inside the General Assembly auditorium, but that's probably a good thing, because if those kids could hear him, they'd be irate. Donald Trump completely lambasting leaders of European nations. And he sent a message to the United Nations about Europe being in serious trouble. This is cut 9. Donald Trump telling Europe the problems that we all know Europe has.
Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody is ever, and nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained.
No, it can't be. And Donald Trump is absolutely right. It's a death sentence. You're swallowing a poison pill. You're ruining a once great culture by importing another. And there's no assimilation in Europe. And listen, I don't want to act like we're in an ivory tower here in America. We have those same problems. And by the grace of God, we have Donald Trump in office. Now, I want to say, while Donald Trump is great, he's not the end all be all. What we have with Trump is a tourniquet. Trump is stopping the bleeding in America. But we need a heart change. We saw in Dearborn, Michigan, where they put Arabic on the police patch. And they pulled back after some backlash, rightfully so. But that's because of bold, courageous Christians speaking their mind. And we need to keep doing that. My dad always says to me, if we're not careful, Europe is a roadmap to where America is going. And we're only about a decade away if we're not careful. It's going to need a heart change. We're going to need to lead with our faith and our Christian values here in America if we don't want what's happening to Londonistan to happen here. That's just the facts of the matter. But Trump kept going. Like what you heard there was pretty harsh. Pretty harsh. But that wasn't the harshest thing he said. He actually looked at their faces, looked them dead in the eyes, could see the white in their eyes, and said, "Your countries are going to hell." This is cut 10.
Of open borders, you have to end it now. See, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore. This was a humanitarian act for all involved, because on the trips up, thousands of people a week were dying.
He's right. Listen, we're not just helping save America when we close the borders. We're helping save the migrants. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter. I mean, you hear the horror stories of what was happening on those journeys up through the border with the coyotes, with the rape, with the death. It was disgusting. It's vile. Children being sold into sex slavery, children being sold into forced labor, regular slavery. And that's what would happen still if we didn't have President Trump in office. But he's the tourniquet. The bleeding stopped, but we still have an issue. We do. Europe is far worse, though. And to get up on that stage and tell those leaders to their face what their problems are, it's got to be a bit uncomfortable. It's got to be a bit uncomfortable for the leaders, and it's got to be a bit uncomfortable for the citizens. Now, I don't blame the citizens for what their leaders do, just like I wouldn't want anybody to blame me for what Joe Biden did under those 4 years. But in America, we have a platform where we can speak up for those guys too, and we should. We should. We still have free speech in this country, and thanks to a platform called X, we can help amplify those messages about what's happening in Europe and get those messages of freedom to those people and say what they can't say without a knock at the door from the authorities. It's crazy what's happening. It's even crazier that it's our president that's going to be the one that saves them, should they ever be saved. We talk about needing a heart change in America. They need a heart change in Europe as well. And I hope that you'll join me in praying for that heart change. We'll be back with more from Donald Trump here at the UN General Assembly in mere moments. My name is Chris Hand. I'm filling in for Joe Bob. Find me on Twitter at Chris Hand on Air. This is Turning Point Tonight.